So it says right here, chapter 27, it's the last chapter in the book. It says, an open letter to Schererville's current third graders from a former Schererville third grader. That's you guys and that's me. When Schererville celebrated its 100-year anniversary in 1966, I was a third grader at St. Michael's School. Many of my friends then are still my friends now, 50 years later. Some are just acquaintances now, but whenever we see each other, we still laugh and smile and tell stories. As I finish telling this story, I've thought back a lot to those days way back when this little 8-year-old boy still had his whole life in front of him. For you third graders now in 2017, you're in the same boat I was back then. I can't tell you how your life is going to go for the next 50 years, but I can tell you this. You live in a great place and you go to a great school, and there are lots of adults and friends and family and neighbors who are rooting for you to live a great, healthy, and happy life, just like they did for me. When I was in the third grade, I was lucky enough to know what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. No one else did. Back then I loved sports and I loved to write.
Excuse this interruption. Faculty and staff, when you have a moment, please check your email. Thank you.
I love sports and I love to write, and when I read the Chicago Tribune every morning, I wanted to grow up to be a sports writer. That seemed like such a fun job to have. You guys won't get that because I'm sure 50 years later that none of you have read a newspaper today. Am I correct on that? Did anyone read a newspaper before they came in? No, okay. See, that's what's changed. Yeah. But I did, and I worked hard, really hard, to be the best young sports writer I could be. I wrote stories for my school newspapers, first at St. Mike's and then at Lake Central. I started covering high school games for a local newspaper when I was 15 years old. I was lucky enough to earn several scholarships to attend Indiana University in Bloomington, the best undergraduate journalism school in the nation. I won lots of national awards and had lots of job offers after my 4 years in Bloomington. I spent most of my adult life working at great newspapers like the Tampa Bay Times, the Indianapolis Star, and the South Florida Sun-Sentinel in Fort Lauderdale. I've also spent part of that time writing books, several nonfiction projects plus a novel. I have written 4 books now, and I own my own publishing company here in Schererville, and that's been a blast. There are many more books on the way. All that was possible because way back in the third grade, I knew what I wanted to do, and I went out and I did it. You're not supposed to know what you're going to be in the third grade, although you guys are proving me wrong on that. So I don't expect you to know either, but let me tell you this. You can be whatever you want to be in this world, as long as you're willing to work for it. I had classmates who didn't know what they wanted to be. One girl next to me grew up to be a doctor. Another girl next to her grew up to be a doctor too. My classmates grew up to run big businesses and nonprofits, own their own businesses, work as managers and accountants and salesmen. Students a few years behind me played professional basketball, boys and girls, and played music on national TV. Most of us became parents and had kids like you. And now some of us have grandkids like you right now as well. I might even know some of your grandmas and grandpas. So grow up and have fun. Work hard and be what you want to be. Make lots of friends and treat every single classmate with love and respect. Everyone is different, and that's okay. Don't be bullies and don't be mean. The kid you know now at 8 years old may be completely different at 18 or 28 or 58 like me. You're a Schererville kid, so be proud of that. And if one of you grows up to be a writer, maybe you can tell the story of Schererville when it turns 200 in 2066. I probably won't be around to read it, but lots of other people will. So have a great life and go do it.